What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and I honestly did not expect to be making a video like this, but just the day after the worldwide release of Modern Warfare, we get this potential leak of what could be crossplay coming to Black Ops 4. I am not kidding. I absolutely did not expect to be talking about any further updates for this game for quite a while. Could be a couple of months before we see a DLC 5, but shout out to Adession Gamer over on Twitter. I believe that's his name. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. He shared this image, as you guys can also see in the thumbnail, of crossplay coming to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC for Black Ops 4. When I saw this, I was like, wait a second, is this Photoshop? Is it faked? But he attempted to communicate with me over on Twitter, and even though he doesn't speak perfect English, I was able to successfully translate most of his messages to me. So I'll share most of those here on screen. One of the things he said was the photo was published on Treyarch's Facebook on the 22nd at 1 p.m. Mexico time. And he then responded and said, right now the post was not deleted very fast, at least 3 to 5 minutes. 1 second to download it, I got out and got into a group of zombies. When I returned to the Treyarch Facebook, it was no longer. So I believe what he was trying to say was that he downloaded the picture right when he saw it, but within about 3 to 5 minutes, it was taken down from Treyarch's Facebook, and he went into a group of zombies players, I believe a Facebook group, and tried to share this image around. And he sent me a screenshot of this. He shared it around with some people in the community, and everybody was kind of freaking out and saying, wait, what's going on? But I haven't seen this go public on Reddit or anywhere else, in the US at least. This is kind of like a Mexican group of zombies players, specifically on Facebook, that saw this. So let me know what you think of this down below in the comments. Is this true? Is crossplay actually coming to Black Ops 4? I just can't believe it. And Treyarch obviously didn't tweet this out. It was only posted on their Facebook. And he also made it clear to me over on Twitter that sometimes Treyarch does post things on their Twitter and not Facebook, or vice versa. So everything Treyarch posts doesn't always end up on all of their social media accounts, so that explains why it wasn't tweeted out. But this is huge. I mean, I really did not expect this whatsoever, but if this is in fact true, that means that some type of UI similar to the one we have in Modern Warfare will be implemented into Black Ops 4, where you connect your Call of Duty account to be able to add friends who are playing on different platforms, because obviously you can't just add an Xbox or a PC player as a friend. You have to kind of add them through their Call of Duty account, so you can join their lobby, invite them to parties, etc. But, you know, I really didn't expect this, but I guess this kind of does further prove that more updates are planned for Black Ops 4 in some capacity. And the biggest thing I took away from this was, if a grief mode is added with a potential DLC 5, then crossplay really allows for there to be some type of active community and active player base engaging in a 4v4 mode like that. Because with the player base we have right now, grief probably wouldn't last that long. It would probably be very difficult to find the lobby for it. They already removed the Rush playlist, and I believe also any type of Gauntlet playlist at the main menu for Black Ops 4 Zombies already. And people out there on PC and Xbox are reporting that it is getting more and more difficult to find lobbies for Blackouts or in multiplayer mode. And it's unfortunate because previous Call of Duties in the past really didn't have that many issues, you know, having players find lobbies for whatever game mode they wanted to play. But as the years go on, it's becoming more and more of a hassle. So opening up crossplay really allows for there to be some type of life left for a game that may not be in its current cycle, right? Like Black Ops 4, its life cycle just ended a couple days ago. So adding in crossplay really allows for people out there who do enjoy Blackout and other modes in zombies to still continue playing if they're not interested in playing Modern Warfare. But this is honestly huge, and even though Modern Warfare is on a new version of the typical Call of Duty engine, it's not a brand new engine entirely, but it is the most enhanced engine we have to date for a Call of Duty game. Even though that's the case, I still think it's possible in some way, shape, or form for Treyarch and Activision to still add crossplay to a game like Black Ops 4. Even though Black Ops 4 isn't the most stable Call of Duty, I do believe they could find a way to make it work to where at least it's stable enough to handle, you know, an 8-player lobby for Grief or a full lobby of Blackout. I think they can make that work. Even though people out there might doubt that, I still think it's possible, but we'll just have to wait and see. Now, besides going out with a bang with a potential Zombies Chronicles 2 in the near future, I think opening up crossplay in Black Ops 4 is also Treyarch's way of giving one last hurrah to Black Ops 4's life. Even though its life cycle has just ended, it could still allow for some type of activity over the next couple of months. And I would even assume that since Activision doesn't plan on releasing a Modern Warfare Battle Royale until maybe mid-2020, keeping the Blackout community as alive as possible also allows for more opportunities for microtransactions to be implemented and for more microtransactions to be purchased by a bigger faction of the community, which is obviously what Activision wants. So it kind of makes sense, right? Keep Blackout as live for as long as possible, just up until the Modern Warfare Battle Royale comes out at some point. So that's kind of my theory, if this is true, as to why Activision is deciding to do this now. they probably see the low player base and are like, we need to somehow keep some activity on this game. What else could we add to Blackout to keep people playing? So that's honestly the answer, crossplay. So it'll be the first time you have a crossplay battle royale for Call of Duty, and also the first time you can see some potential crossplay for zombies. And it's insane, but maybe it's also possible they limit crossplay to just one mode, like Blackout. That might be the way they can make it work, or maybe they can make Blackout a separate download now and have crossplay on that separate download. I don't know how they can make it work unless they do update the Black Ops 4 application, you know, to some capacity to where it allows for this new UI to be implemented. But just imagine cross-platform zombies. I talked about this a couple of videos ago where I spoke about Black Ops 2020, some of the leaks for that game, and cross-platform zombies will already change the landscape of zombies entirely, right? You'll have cross-platform Easter egg hunts, you'll have cross-platform activity, people who can finally play with each other again, who might be on different platforms but are still friends. It just opens up so much and really does bring the community closer than it ever was. So yes, Modern Warfare is taking a step in the right direction with some of these new features, but to put it in a Treyarch Call of Duty would just mean so much more, just in my opinion. But speaking of stability for a Call of Duty, right, we have Modern Warfare that didn't get off to a very good start last night. When the game released worldwide, the servers were down for, I think it was 3 or more hours, which to me, quite frankly, is unacceptable, because every single year, I understand there's a lot of people trying to log in, a lot of people trying to play, but haven't they learned by now that when they expect such a crazy capacity of people to be on the servers trying to log in, haven't they found a way to make that a little more stable every time a Call of Duty releases? I just don't understand why, but luckily the problem got fixed after a few hours. But at least Black Ops 4 released with stable servers. Although it was blue screening quite a bit at release, at least the servers didn't go down all that bad. But yeah, I didn't get off to a very good start, and I burned through the whole campaign in about 6 hours. It wasn't groundbreaking. I was impressed with a couple of moments. There were a couple of key highlights of the campaign which really stood out and made it feel like a different campaign in comparison to previous Call of Duties, but overall felt a little too short, a little too slow paced for my liking. The story was kind of predictable and really felt like kind of a filler setup for this new Modern Warfare trilogy, right? A revamped version of, was it Task Force 141 with Price, Soap, Ghost, Gaz. That's really what it felt like, and you know, it felt kind of flat on its face, felt a little bit bland, and didn't live up to too much of the hype it was getting. The smoothest Call of Duty to date, I would say. It just was, some of the story aspects and some of the gameplay decisions they made with some of the missions just felt kind of questionable. But overall, the smoothest Call of Duty to date. Obviously, the engine is the most modified engine to this day, and people out there who are like, wait, isn't Modern Warfare on a completely new engine? It really isn't, and the evidence behind that is from data miners, right? You have Infinite Warfare assets that are in the Modern Warfare code. You have features from Infinite Warfare, maps and weapons, a bunch of placeholder stuff from Infinite Warfare that's in the Modern Warfare files, and the only way that's possible is if it's ported over from the same engine. Content can't be ported over from a completely different engine. It has to be remade from the ground up if that's the case, right? So clear evidence right there that it's using the same engine as Infinite Warfare, but it's modified so heavily that it feels so much different and feels so new, which is fine by me. I think it'll be quite a few years before Activision ever invests and makes plans for a completely new engine from the very ground up. But that still raises some questions. If Modern Warfare is technically still on the same engine that Black Ops 4 is, just, you know, modified a little bit heavier, then theoretically they could still implement crossplay, maybe at a smaller scale, for just a mode like Blackout instead of multiplayer and zombies, kind of having Treyarch get their feet wet with how to implement crossplay in their Call of Duties going forward, because everything Modern Warfare implemented with its engine, features, and mechanics, that hopefully will be brought to the table with every Call of Duty going forward, no matter what studio is making that specific game, which is promising because the cutscenes and the smoothness and the fluency of how Modern Warfare runs really gets me excited for the future of the franchise, and how every development team can now take full advantage of such a fast-paced running game so they can implement more at a faster rate. But it's also come to my attention that a lot of content was held back at release for Modern Warfare, which gets me thinking, because I don't think Spec Ops alone can really hold the community together for too many months, and multiplayer is already oversaturated as it is, so I think they held back as much content as possible from release so that they have more to implement over time leading up to the release of their Battle Royale at some point in 2020, and Activision knows that too. They know that Modern Warfare doesn't have much to bring to the table. You have a short campaign, oversaturated multiplayer that isn't being received too well right now. Then you have Spec Ops, which in and of itself is pretty bland. You have survival exclusive to PS4, and the missions that are cool enough to be a continuation of the story mode, but once you play them once, there's not much replayability after that. So Activision knows that, so I think they're like, okay, well, even though Black Ops 4 wasn't received the best either, putting crossplay in that game could still keep the community alive alive long enough until Call of Duty Mobile drops zombies, till Modern Warfare implements Battle Royale, until more opportunities for microtransactions to be implemented, you know, happen in the near future. You open up Black Ops 4 as much as you can to kind of suck every last bit of life out of it before it officially dies at some point in the next few months. But with the DLC 5.2, adding crossplay for zombies, if they do that, could also really help out the community for those out there who are burned out from whatever it is they're playing. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Check all links down below in the description. Really hope you've enjoyed. Again, the image itself of crossplay could be photoshopped, even though it looks extremely legit. It could be fake, but you know, I'm gonna give this guy the benefit of the doubt over on Twitter. Again, shout out to Edition Gaming over on Twitter. I'll have his link down below in the description too. I'm gonna trust his word, but again, take it with a grain of salt, because you never know. It could have been a mistake. Maybe Treyarch wasn't supposed to post that and they did by accident. You know, I'm not sure why they would even post it on their Facebook and not their Twitter. You know, I know they don't post everything on all their social medias, but I would expect something that big to be announced at such a big rate. But if more information is found about this, I'll keep you guys updated here on my channel in the next couple of days. That is about it, and peace out, everyone.